Good morning, warriors. Welcome to the You Movement. I am B, and today is the second sleep that I've been here. Oh, okay. So, I actually made two videos before I came, but of the 2 nights leading up to before I came, and I might try to figure out a way to edit them into this. I promised that I would, show you a real-time look at what an awakening is like. And I'm going to be honest with you and tell you that, in my personal opinion, I don't think there's anything more painful than trauma releases. And it's not like you have much choice on this awakening path, but today's been very brutal for me. Life on this awakening has a way of poking you and poking you and poking you so that it can get deep into the wounds to get out the infected, toxic stuff that's been repressed. And, unless somebody's been through this, you can't possibly fathom it. You can't possibly fathom it. You can read a book about it, and if you were to read a book about it, I'd highly recommend Complex Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder: From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker, because he describes it very well, because he himself has gone through the experience. And for me, I've had a day today of very explosive purging. It's been a really hard day. It's been a very hard day. This is hard work. Because there's been so many times that I want to say to people, run back the other way, grab all those addictions and keep doing it. There's a reason why people do all those addictive behaviors that I've been talking about in the videos lately. There's a reason why I did almost all of those addictive behaviors at one time or another. Because you'll literally do anything. You'll do anything to prevent a day like today. You'll do anything. I did anything. Smoking, drinking, sugar, food, sex, love, work, caffeine, hallucinogens, marijuana, pharmaceuticals. Because I would have done anything to not feel what I felt today. But Kundalini doesn't care. Kundalini doesn't care, and you got to surrender to the process and trust that what's coming up to clear out is always for our highest and greatest good. It's to get rid of it. So, I make my videos to remind other people of that, but also to remind myself of that. Because what's been happening is, for the last couple of days, I've been packing. And there's something about the act of packing that's highly triggering for me and flashes me back to pre-adoption. And I can well imagine, all my belongings being packed up. I had a little suitcase, a little blue suitcase with big orange and yellow flowers on it, and all my little dresses that I had would have been packed away in that. And I had a Mrs. Beasley doll in a small little car. I still have the car. And anytime I saw that suitcase come out, oh man, I knew it was another move into the unknown. Because, you know, you don't go from your mom to a new home. You go from your mom to foster care. And then I went back to my mom for a period of time, and then I went back to foster care. And then I got adopted. So there was a lot of moves. And the packing is like scarier than the move. And there's been so many things on my awakening that have been forcing me to spiritually mature and release traumas that are lodged within me. So today I was in the energy of about a 2-year-old and having fits like a 2-year-old. And I live alone, so I can do that if I want, without judgment, in a safe container. So I would do a little bit of work and do a little bit of cleaning, and then I would sit down and I would have a massive release. And I would get back to the practice. And as I was packing, I was getting more and more panicked because it was clear that the amount of stuff I had wasn't going to fit into the 9-foot van that I had rented. And it was already 10 o'clock at night, and I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And it's that thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? That's the 2-year-old thought that doesn't have the answers or the solutions. And so in that moment, I am both 2 and 53, trying to calm a 2-year-old that's freaking out and trying to be a 53-year-old that needs to solve problems and find a larger truck last minute. Because I'll be driving across the top of Toronto, and it'll be like a convoy. I'll be in my car, my new car, driving me, which is in itself very scary. I have been practicing. I only got my license at age 52. That was only in October, so that's October, November, December, January. That's 4 months that I've been driving. So, that's healing adolescent wounds, because most people learn to drive when they're an adolescent. And now I'm stepping into the next phase, when the adolescent normally drives themselves to college or off to live in a new place, starting out on their own. I never had any normal childhood development markers, from the get-go. It was kind of, I was, off-roaded. I don't think, I know that people have no concept of what adoption does to you. Most of my life, people were always gaslighting me and telling me, how lucky I was and how I should be, grateful, because isn't it so lovely that I got adopted? And I suppose, yeah, if the alternative was not getting adopted, but what about the alternative of not being adopted at all? And staying with your birth parents? I don't think people comprehend how trauma works and how traumatizing children works. And I found my birth mother, actually, on Facebook. I've met her once before. in my 30s. We had lunch together, and she had a couple of drinks, and she was all poor me, as in poor her, not poor me. Both my birth parents were. They wanted my empathy. But neither of them empathized with me. And their actions had consequences. That's just the simple fact. No, I didn't just get over it. I repressed it. You know, people think that, it's all right. Kids are resilient. Kids are resilient. They'll just bounce back. That's insane, you know? If adults who should be more resilient than children can't bounce back from traumatic situations, why the hell would children be able to? But they're forced to. Children are forced to. And so what we do is we repress it. But there's real physiological damage done to our nervous systems when we do that and when we experience trauma. And instead of understanding trauma and how it works, society turns around and further traumatizes already traumatized people. You know, of course I was angry as a teenager. Of course I was depressed for most of my life. I know this move is leading me, it's God's will, it's leading me somewhere. Anyways, hopefully something magnificent on the other side. That's the goal, that's the hope. But in the pre-move phase, it's very triggering. It's very triggering. Everything packed away. Hypervigilance activated. It's not going to fit. You've made a mistake. You should do this, that, the other. I did manage to find a bigger truck. Trauma release is the hardest thing you'll ever go through. The hardest thing you'll ever go through. There is so much we need to fix when it comes to humanity. Starting with how we treat our children. How we view healing, what healing actually is. There's so many gaps. I'm really hoping that as more and more people awaken and step into their soul's mission, that you're going to see compassionate healing centers. I'd like to own one of those. A place where people can go and get their hand held or offered a cup of tea. Or just somebody to sit with you and swing in a hammock. Something surrounded by trees and nature. something where humanity isn't clinical, but compassionate, loving, and kind. Where people have been through their own trauma releases so they know how to hold space for others. It's my hope and prayer that through all this healing work, I'm able to help others, because I wouldn't want anyone to suffer like this. I really wouldn't. But it's the only way. It's the only way. I've looked for so many decades for other ways out of suffering. I've looked at all the ways. At the end of the day, the only way is to sit in it and feel it. And it's hard. It's brutal. It's brutal. Brutality teaches compassion, though. It teaches compassion. I have compassion for myself. Where family failed me twice over, I have compassion for myself. And I'm not ashamed to show what it is to be human. I send everybody who's doing this work and on this path so much love and understanding. And a reminder that you're not alone. I understand and I see you. I truly see you. Good morning, warriors. It is just after 6 o'clock in the morning. Today is move day. And I wanted to do a check-in and just kind of let you know what's happening for me, because one of the things that people say that drives me absolutely insane is, just change your thinking. Just change your thinking. And if it was as simple as that, trust me, I would have done it. I'm a doer. And I would have done that really fast. But the problem is trauma is lodged in your body, and you can't just change your body. That takes work. It takes work to change your nervous system. And last night, I had 2 more episodes of extreme releases. Crying, screaming, shaking. It's a good thing that nobody can hear me. Barely got any sleep. I think Arwen's also picking up on my anxiety. She was meowing a good part of the night. And in my chest, I'm feeling like Iron Man in the first movie when he had that rusty thing in him. And despite using this to do a lot of this, and despite using Adventurine that a friend recommended, and despite doing a lot of slow breath work with holds, and despite somatically rocking and moving, and despite all the mantra, I'm still experiencing extreme, I suppose, heart chakra clearings brought on by this move, the anxiety that I'm currently in. And, you know, anxiety doesn't have to be sensical, you know, it can be very nonsensical. So it can, you know. First, the anxiety was, oh my God, none of this stuff is going to fit into this truck. And I suppose people who don't have trauma and don't have PTSD and aren't having a Kundalini might have been like, oh, no big deal, we'll just get a different truck. Where for me, it was an extremely big deal. And arranging that at 10 o'clock at night was very stress-inducing. Very stress-inducing. But I did it, and I'm damn fucking proud of myself. Like, incredibly proud of myself for that. Because whilst I was having an emotional flashback and in a trauma response, I still managed to maintain some degree of executive functioning in my brain. Which is why when people say things like just change your thinking, I get really irritated because, you know, my brain chemistry is just doing its own thing. And my nervous system is doing its own thing. So this morning I woke up, I fed Arlen, who'd been meowing for food all night, because that's how she self-soothes. And I tried humming for a good long while to vibrate on the nervous system, to calm it. I'll probably be humming most of the drive, or chanting, because that's what I do in the car. So I chant. And, you know, my first obstacle today is getting everything in the truck. And then once that's, I can breathe and feel more reassured and grateful that I listened to my intuition and my friend's intuition that said, I think you should get a bigger truck. So that's the first. And then the second will be merging onto the 401. Once I merge onto the 401, which I've been doing visualization for, the 401 is the biggest highway in Ontario. And I have to merge onto it. And I'm a new driver. And I don't know what new drivers normally feel like. See, there's a lot of, I wonder what normal people would do, because there's so much, I've experienced so much minimization throughout my life. That, you know, my experiences are, I suppose, deemed not normal by somebody. And maybe that's because I'm autistic. Maybe that's because I'm having a Kundalini. Maybe that's because I'm traumatized. But trust me, if I could just change my thinking and I could just regulate my nervous system, that would be my choice. That's what I would choose to do. So, I don't think anyone chooses trauma releases. I don't. People would rather choose addiction. You know, I was lying last night in the observer while it's happening. I'm observing. So it's like I'm split into parts, because there is the observer in me that knows that this is part of a Kundalini awakening and that I am safe and that this is release and everything's going to be okay. And then there's the 2-year-old self that's screaming like a fucking banshee, reliving the memories of the first few days of being ripped away from my birth mother very clearly. Then there's my soul self that's coming through, and some light language is happening while I'm clearing. And, you know, it's a lot. So to maintain executive functioning, as I said, while all of this is going on and you're middle of like a massive purge or a massive release, is something that I call warrior work. That's why I call us warriors, because I can tell you, man, I'd like to smoke right now. I would love to smoke right now. I haven't smoked tobacco, I'm going to say, since 2020 was the last time. I haven't smoked cannabis since 2023. But man, I would smoke today. If I do cheat on any of my previous addictions, it might be caffeine today. We'll see. I don't want to do that because it would maybe wire me even more. But I'm really tired. Although I suppose once I get on the road, I'll be like really uber focused. Lots of water. Lots of water. Wash my face with some cold water. Pack the last little bits, my bedding, and Arwen stuff. Excuse me, but that was a release. You will burp. It's better than vomiting as you're releasing energy, so I suppose that's a good sign. That's a good sign. It was really nerve-wracking. I'm just aside. When I was a Reiki practitioner, I would work on clients, and as I was clearing their energy, often I would have to like burp. So I was always like, sorry. Just clearing energy. Just got me better out than in, as Shrek says. I'm trying to practice in my mind merging, and then the off ramp that connects me to another highway are my two nervous about. So I am. But merging on is more scary than coming off, I think. We'll see. The country roads are my preference. So they are. Oh. It's like I am so many aspects of myself at the same time right now, because, I'm that 2-year-old self overcoming the fear of moving and the fear of the unknown. And even though it is known, and I've had video tours of the place that I'm going, and I've been in that land before, in that region before. What my life will be like there is unknown. And until I'm there, I can't know. Until I'm there, my nervous system is firing, and I got no control over that. Zero control over that. Although I'm trying with all my tools. I'm throwing every single tool I have at it. Rocking, counting, stimming, thumping, humming, tapping. You name it. I'm trying it. There's also my teenage self that never got to have a normal teenagehood, adolescence. You know, most people go and learn to drive with their parents. Again, comparisons of what normal people do. They get to, you know, learn to drive when they're 16 and go driving with their mom or their dad in a car park, practice, and one of the parents will be like all panicked, and yeah, I didn't have any of those experiences. My brother was given a car when he was 16. I'd attempted committed suicide at 16. Like a week before my 16th birthday. And then I ran away and moved out of my house for a period of time. So yeah, there were no cars. There was no driving in car parks. There was no packing my own car and driving myself to university. There was none of that. So I'm reliving and reprogramming the abandonment wounds as well as my adolescent wounds all at the same time. And going to be independent, which is healing my adult wounds all at the same time, not being reliant on a man. I sometimes wonder what it might have been like to have a normal life and be a normal person with normal thoughts. And then I wonder, do those people even actually exist, or are they just talking shite? I tend to think they're just talking shite. Maybe they're just better at masking. But I'm unmasked. Like, you add it all up, and it's just crazy, really. It's just crazy what I've survived and how I'm still here and what I've done in such a relatively short period of time. You know, any one of those things would have been overwhelming, I think, you know. Learning to be a skinny person, that's a whole thing. Learning to be a sober person, and when I say sober, I mean like totally clean, like no addictions. I don't know if I know anyone else that has no addictions, you know, that used to have addictions, you know. Alcohol, smoking, pharmaceuticals, cannabis, sacred medicines, which includes microdosing, food, sugar, caffeine, people, trauma bonds. That's a lot to give up in 6 years. Unmasking. And then to go through a twin flame journey, a Kundalini awakening, you know, lose every single person that you ever cared about in one way or another. And yeah, some of them was me walking away, but that was because, like, it was that, or just keep people pleasing and fawning. So there's another thing I gave up: trauma response, learning to not respond from trauma, learning to have boundaries, learning to speak up for myself, learning to speak my truth. escaping from a narcissistic head fucker, surviving a 3-year legal battle with my family, what was left of my family. And there's aspects to that story I can't even say that are just, would blow your fucking mind. Losing your job, losing your house, losing your financial security, regaining your financial security. Chronic pain, misdiagnosis. How the fuck am I supposed to be a normal person with all that? How the fuck am I supposed to just change my thinking after all that? So little compassion some people have. So much judgment. I've been sleeping with my Bible. I suppose that's not normal either. But on a Kundalini, what is? There is no normal. There is no normal. There is a sick society full of traumatized people that mask and pretend everything's okay and don't show any depth of compassion because they lack compassion to themselves because everything's in shadow. And we use sex, drugs, and rock and roll, baby, any which way we can to numb, distract, distort. Over 70% of the North American population is on pharmaceutical drugs so that they don't feel like I feel today. So they don't do the healing work that I'm doing today. I should rephrase that. The warrior work, which is to transmute this shit, to break the cycle, to face the shadow, to feel the fear, the anxiety, the panic, to try to calm the hypervigilant mind that kept me alive, you know? Hypervigilance kept me alive because I could always be prepared for the next attack. When you're attacked by the very people that are supposed to love you, and you don't have a solitary, safe person out there in the world. What are you supposed to do? Where are you supposed to go? You have to cultivate safety within. Connect to the divine. Rely on God. My hands are in God's hands. Praying. Well, when I make it to the other side, I'll let you know. And although I can tell myself 101 times, I know everything's going to be okay, my body doesn't know that. My inner child doesn't know that. My nervous system doesn't know that because I've never had that experience. At least not sober. At least not without cigarettes or pharmaceuticals. What I'm attempting to do is live life in a way that I suppose isn't normal. Because it's detached of all addictions. It's detached from dysfunctional relationships. And while others might judge me for that, well, others do judge me for that, but whatever. I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm doing something most people don't even dare to do. Live without attachment. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. Will it be worth it? If I can master it, yeah. Yeah. Self-reliant as opposed to reliant on external things. Find peace, joy, and bliss within myself instead of seeking it outside of myself. Yeah, it'll be worth it. Not waste money on stupid stuff. And those things cost a lot of money now. What are cigarettes going for these days? $15, $16, $20? Who knows? I haven't bought a pack in years. That's crazy though. $20 to poison yourself. But man, it felt good. Felt good. I get it. Felt way better than this shit. But I'd rather release the trauma than live in the illusion or the delusion that I'm fine. Do you know the definition of fine as it was taught to me in college a million years ago? Fine stands for fucked up, irrational, neurotic, and emotional. And then you repress those down. I'm fine. No repression here. Only authentic humanness in its raw and ugly state. And I think that's brave as fuck. I think anybody that quits addictions and starts to sit and feel their feelings, you're a badass motherfucker. Thank you for supporting me on my journey. Thank you for those that have shown me compassion instead of judgment. Thank you for those who have been kind and caring instead of cold and critical. Thank you for those that have held space for me, who have understood me, seen me, heard me, loved me. Thank you. Each one of you is a blessing and a miracle. And I hope it rains blessings and miracles upon you. You've touched my life in so many ways you don't even know. Each comment left, each like, each subscription, each super, like, wow. It's given me reason to keep going when I didn't think that I could. In helping you, you helped me. This channel really did save my life. I know a lot of people have been following my journey, and you guys have been so amazing in supporting me and encourage me and, reminding me that despite my insane fears to keep going, that I deserve this, that it's all going to work out, that everything's going to be okay. And, you guys really kept me going through this move that was cuckoo for me. It was tough. And so I know you guys all are very, very curious where I've landed myself. And despite the location being secret, top secret, top secret, ain't nobody showing up here unannounced. But despite that, I am going to show you around so you guys can see how I've landed, because this is blowing my mind. Blowing my mind, baby. So it's gone just past 7 a.m. on February the 2nd, Groundhog Day, and it certainly felt like I was living Groundhog Day for many, many days, and it's like an anti-Groundhog Day, because now all of a sudden, absolutely everything is different. So without any further ado, I'm going to give you the grand tour. I'm basically unpacked. And almost, there's this and that. It'll take a little bit of a process, but it's not like a disastrous mess everywhere. So I'm going to lift you up, and I'm going to take you with me. And is that the moon in the background? It might just very well be. So this is my living room. So I'll stand back and walk a distance. We've got my lighting system. Yes, that's a pillowcase on top of a light to diffuse me. So this, look at these ceilings. They go up, 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 up. I don't even know how many feet that is. They're cathedral ceilings, so one side is even taller than the other side. Look, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So this is the living room space. I'm gonna just keep turning in a circle. So I'm going to just keep turning myself around. Big, huge TV for when my kids come to visit. I'm not much of a TV person. Nice little rocking chair to soothe my inner child. We'll go into those rooms in a minute, but I'm just going to keep on spinning. I'm spinning in the spot. Look at the size of this table. Perfect for oracle reads. So it is. Did my first oracle read on it yesterday. And then in the background there, we have just amazing. That's the lake. That is the lake. That is the walk to the lake. That is the sunrise that's going to come up, and all these windows, it's just going to be streaming full of. So on that side, I have no neighbors. On this side, I have a neighbor off in the distance, like just a short little walk. I don't know if you can see, there's a couple fishing huts out there. The snowmobiles have been going zoom, 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 back and forth, having so much fun. That would be so much fun. I want someone to take me on a snowmobile ride. Okay, we're walking our way this way. So look at all those windows in behind me. That's a lot of windows, man. That's a lot of windows. Windows. Windows, windows, windows. And then we come in here, and here's my bedroom. my bed kind of made, not really there. Yeah, it is kind of made. Very small closet. That's okay. I'll live out of a suitcase. I don't mind. I'm here for a year. So yes, it's kind of like, how much do I unpack? How much do I keep stuck? In here, we have a teeny tiny little bathroom. Nice walk-in shower. Well, all showers you walk in, don't they? And then we have a little guest room for when my son and his girlfriend come to stay or a friend comes. So 3 beds in here. So it'll be a tight visit for anybody who comes in. And that's it. That's amazing. Okay, so let me sit down, get myself back comfortable on my little spot here. And I want to talk about this because there we go. Hello. Okay. Wow. I just keep laughing and having just spontaneous bursts of laughter. My first mission in getting here was this moving van situation. I was in so much panic the day before because my spatial awareness isn't always the very best. I'm always overestimating how much is going to fit into a small container. And I had booked myself a 9-foot van. I had booked myself 2 to be safe because I'm always like hyper vigilant. I better have backup. I had one from U-Haul, I had one from Home Depot. And when I looked at how much stuff I had, I was like, there's not a chance this is going to fit into a 9-foot van. Not a chance. So last minute, I canceled, like really in the 11th hour, the 10th hour. It was 10 p.m. at night. And I was like, how the hell is all this going to fit in? And I booked myself a 10-foot van in the closest town because I couldn't get one. It was all booked out in the town, in the city of Cambridge. There was no 10-foot vans available. I was like in a panic. And so in a neighboring town, I found a 10-foot van. I booked myself a 10-foot van. At 7 a.m. in the morning, I get a text message saying, call us right away about your van rental. And I was like, oh my God, panic. And I get on the phone with a woman and she's like, hello, how are you today? And I'm like, I'm very stressed out. What's going on? And she's like, well, I don't have a 10-foot van available for you, so I'm going to upgrade you into a 15-foot van, the exact same price. And just to take the stress off of your trip, I am going to make it a 24-hour rental so you can take your sweet time. I'm like, are the angels working through you? You deserve a raise, lady. Unbelievable. Now, I did not need a 15-foot van. My stuff barely covered. So talk about going in the other direction. It barely, I didn't even cover the grounds, the ground space, let alone going, vertically. But it definitely took my stress off because I'm like, oh, well, absolutely all my stuff's going to get in a 15-foot. It's not like I was moving any furniture or anything. It's just I had 6 extra large totes, plastic totes, 10 medium-sized totes, and then a few bags, because I had 2 paddle boards that all combined. Plus I had my own car and I was so scared I bought myself a car top thing. I didn't even need to fill my car. I put the valuables in my car. So my car wasn't even full, which was just fabulous. It was fabulous. Then the next stress was merging onto the 401, the highway, which is a 3-lane highway. It's the biggest highway we have, and it turns into a 6-lane highway. I was like, oh my God. Because I've never been on that highway before as a driver. You got to remember, I only learned how to drive in October. It is now February. So despite driving on some country roads and in the town of Cambridge, I don't have a huge amount of driving experience. So I was nervous as hell. And, But I was driving in a convoy kind of situation where I was driving behind my son who was driving the U-Haul and I was driving my car. So I asked him very nicely, a little bit of role reversal, because normally, you know, the parent would lead and the child would follow. But my son's been my teacher since day one anyways. So I'm like, I really hope you don't mind, but could you take the lead? He's been driving for way more than me. He's been driving for 9 years. And he's like, yes, I'll drive. You just stay on my tail. And so I was very scared about merging onto the 401, which is this crazy busy highway. And I just stayed right on his tail, and I was watching to make sure I could get in at the same time with him. And I basically stayed on his tail the entire journey. And, you know, although some cars managed to get in between, because I wasn't like right on his tail. I tend to keep a little bit more distance than maybe other drivers would. But the drive went fine. What did I learn on the drive? Take off your coat. Yes, take off your coat. I was a little bit hot and stiff wearing a winter coat in a car driving a long distance, so I won't be doing that again. Learned my lesson. But Arwen was meowing the large majority of the way. She's having the time of her life, investigating all the places. She's found the top bunk is one of her favorite places to hide out, and she's as relaxed as anything. She's no longer on the constant lookout, because she can look out. She doesn't need to jump up on anything to look out. But yeah, so she can just go watch. So I did put a bed of hers right here beside the window if she ever just wants to lay down and look out and stare at the lake, look at squirrels, whatever else might be out there. So once we merged, I thought we were going to take the 407, which is the toll highway, so that we wouldn't go across the top of Toronto amongst traffic. But my son decided that we were going on the 401 the whole way, which was a good lesson for me. It was a necessary lesson for me, because instead of doing what I wanted to do, which was to escape and therefore take the easy route and therefore not learn or not boost my own confidence as a driver, we did the harder route, the longer route, which, you know, instilled more confidence in me as a driver, as somebody who's capable of doing things on her own, and, you know, because I was driving on my own. So I was glad to have that experience, even though it took us an extra 10 minutes. Who cares? The traffic flowed pretty much all the way except for one area. And then we got here. We all collapsed for a little bit on these very nice comfy couches. And then we got some lunch into us and brought in all the totes, and I left. The only thing I unpacked that first night was my freezers and fridge stuff, which wasn't a lot, because for the last 3 months I've been living in an Airbnb. Now this is a year-long rental, so I can stock up my cupboards a little bit, and I definitely need to, because I've been living off of like sardines and weird stuff for the last couple months. Because I've been trying in the micro house, I had stocked up all the cupboards thinking that I was going to be living there for a year, and that the move was like, just the kitchen alone was 10 boxes, and so I'm like, I'm not doing that again. So the move this time was 3. That's not a lot of food. 3 boxes and 1 freezer bag. So I unpacked the freezer, I unpacked my bed, made the bed, because it's my own sheets, and pretty much passed out that night pretty early. And the next day got up and started doing all my unpacking, which I've basically done. You know, as I need things, I will unpack more, but they're all stacked up in the spare room there, and that's good. This is my only piece of furniture that I own, that I've brought with me all the way from Ireland. This little baby, she's come away. So yeah, I've got my little knickknacks up, and I haven't bothered putting up any art, because the walls have got like a nice vibe with some snowshoes and downhill skis. I might put up 1 or 2 things if I feel like it. If not, we'll see. And I'm basically all settled in. There is some plumbing problems, which I find hilarious, absolutely hilarious. Inside joke there. But they'll resolve themselves. Well, the pipes are partially frozen, so as it heats up, that will resolve itself. But I'm not that bothered. I find it actually funny. But for the most part, I'm living in my idea of heaven. Like my mind is blown. Okay, my mind is absolutely blown because my little self, when I moved out of my house, was like, I just need to find something small in the woods and whatever. And the best that I could find was that micro house in a horrible trailer park. Now, the micro house itself was very lovely, and I'm still debating whether or not I should republish those videos. I might do. You know, I might keep. I was very scared when I left that place because when a woman showed up at my house harassing me with a concussion. I had a concussion, and you know, I was sitting at back just holding my head. The fire wasn't even lit, and she showed up at my house, and it was very overwhelming. I didn't feel safe. I don't know why anyone would feel safe after they'd been hit by a bobcat. There was no safety measures taken. There was no police report done. There was nothing, you know. And then to further be harassed online as well as in person, why would I feel safe there? So nice dreams of living the small life. Spirit didn't want me living small. God literally had to hit me in the head to get me to move, and so I moved, and I grasped hold of the closest thing that I could find. Did I lose a lot of money in this process? Yeah, I did, but I don't care. My physical health and well-being is way more important. So I justified that expense as a health expense. And I mention that because on this healing journey, your relationship with money is a very weird thing that happens. You know, I've had these, you know, I lost my job. I was working as an administrator. I lost my job in 2019, and when COVID hit, because my job became redundant, and my awakening was underway. And so first I was like, okay, I'm going to live off of my EI, my unemployment insurance, for as long as I can. And then COVID hit and everybody was sent home anyway. So then once my EI ran out, it was all kind of like divinely timed that the COVID payments for those that couldn't work were allotted for as long as I could ride that. And then I got in renters in my house, my soul kids that I call them, lovely young adults that lived with me for a period of time. And so that was a bit of income that kept me afloat. And then my legal battle hit and money was flying out the door, hand over fist. And I rode my credit cards. I rode them hard. And the concept that what you need will show up when you need it is so true. Your mind may not believe it, because the entire time I was freaking out. I was totally freaking out. What am I going to do? Oh my God, what am I going to do? So everything was divinely orchestrated, you know, just when I was riding COVID, and I was still living with my husband for that amount of time. So there was some income coming in from him. And then when he was gone, I replaced that income with income coming in from some income. I wasn't charging them a lot, but I was getting a little bit of income from some kids that were living with me. It was something, right? It was a little bit of money coming in. And then when I'm riding my credit cards, you know, every 3 months, the bank was offering me more money. And I was like, I don't know how or why the bank keeps offering me more money, but I have to take it. I have to take it. I have to assume that this is God working for me, and in the end, it's all going to work out. So, like they just kept giving me more credit because all my money that was coming in was going to the lawyers. So I no longer had any income whatsoever. All I had to live off of, all I had were these credit cards. So in those years, I accumulated $36,000 of debt. That's a lot of money to be in debt, and a lot of panic. A lot of panic, especially when you're starting a new business and you're not making peanuts. Like I haven't been making a large money out of my YouTube, like peanuts. I would say in the almost 400 videos that I've done, I would be averaging out maybe 2 cents an hour. That's what you call passion, people, is you just have to do it. You are inspired to do it, and you do it regardless of whether you're making money out of it or not. And I just kept plugging away at it. And somebody once told me, it takes 3 to 5 years to become solvent in a business. So just be prepared for that. And I was like, okay. And, would I call myself solvent? No. I think I'm year 2 or 3, year 2 that it's 2 years since I've been seeing clients, that I opened myself up for that. So, you get stressed. I'm sharing this with you because I want you to understand, if you're going through major financial problems and terrified out of your mind, that somehow it all works out in the end. Somehow it all works out in the end. That's God's doing. And so when I finally was free of the legal battle and finally able to sell my house, I was finally able to clear my debt. So I cleared my debt last summer. I moved into or just after last summer, in the October, I think. I cleared, so last year, I sold my house, I moved, and this is really even not last year, the last half of the year, the back half of the year, I sold my house, I cleared my debt, I learned to drive, I moved 3 times. And you need to go with the flow of it, trusting that it's all going to work out. And listen, trusting that it's all going to work out, I get it. I've been years going please God, please God, please God, please God, please God, on constant repeat, help me, please, please, please. I did not have flow. People talk about just go with the flow, it's all gonna work out, peace, yeah. I was white knuckling it, freaking out, having anxiety, crying, going through dark night of the soul, just my entire life collapsing and everything over the last 6 years. It's been crazy, it's been insane. And so my ego self, when I was, made decisions of I need to live small. I need to live small. I need to tolerate this horrible trailer park. I need to tolerate this. And Spirit's bonk. Yeah, no, you don't. Move. And then I'm I need to just suck up the fact that my health is more important to me. I need a place to recover. And so for the last 3 months that it was what it was for me, it was recovery. A lot of healing work went down in that last space. And when negotiations with the landlady there went, seriously off road, I'm oh, Spirit wants me to move. Spirit wants me to move again. Spirit wants me to move away from my son. And I thought very long and hard about that because my egoic self wanted to live close to him. But my soul self was no, there needs to be some detaching. Okay, he's age 25, and you being a burden or you being reliant upon him is not healthy for him, and it's not healthy for you. And having some space is going to create an atmosphere where there's way less pressure on the relationship. For this period of time. And besides which, I need to live my life for me now. Okay, I've lived my life for somebody else my entire life. I've never lived my life for me, not for a man, not for my mother, not for family, friends, not for, anyone. I made most of the decisions that I made over the last 25 years thinking it was in the best interest of my son. Clearly, I made some mistakes with that in staying in a dysfunctional marriage. But when you have a young child, it's very difficult because you're like, how am I going to survive as a single mom? And, you know, I need a second income coming in is how it works for most places. So I made decisions based on financial interests as opposed to energetic, spiritual, healing decisions. And decisions based out of the ego is what my point being are never the best decisions to make. Sometimes you just have to fly by the seat of your pants and have faith that it's all going to miraculously work out. And here I am in my definition of heaven. This may be somebody else's definition of hell. They would rather live in a big city with tall skyscrapers. But this is my definition of heaven. Like the amount of light that is in this place is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I did a little video clip yesterday of the full moon light. I had all my crystals out on the mat so that they could get fully charged. And the sunlight, as the sun comes up, this whole space is going to be flooded with light. So light is huge for me. Being close to water is like a necessity for my nervous system. Being surrounded by like nature, even within this house, like all the wood, you know, and I believe this is leather. And I'm sitting on wool. So all the natural fibers, natural things, is necessary for me to now ground myself. Grounding. So we've gone through all these phases of collapse, of disintegration, of letting go of everyone, of complete financial destruction, and then being made right. Okay, so I have savings that I'm able to live off of so that I can dedicate myself this year to being disciplined and writing my book, because when you're relaxed, you are in creative flow. When you are tense and stressed and anxious and paranoid and all these things, there's very little creative flow. And I need to be in creative flow to create the life that I want. And I'm telling you all this and telling myself all this as a means to keep reminding myself and justifying in my mind's eye that I deserve this. Because my small self is like, this is too nice for you. That's what my small self says, you know, the self-loathing part of myself that thinks that I'm trash. Living in this place is like, this is the new you. This is a step, because I'm only here for a year. This is a step into your best life. This is you're living out dreams. You're living out fantasies. So, I have other fantasies, like living in Mexico, but for the time being, this is my fantasy, and I have to trust that, you know, more money will come. More money will come. When, how, I don't know, but I'm going to just keep reminding myself on a daily basis, because reprogramming your mind when things start going well for you, the reprogramming doesn't stop. You know, it's still going to be, first you got to pull yourself out of the dark thinking and and the fear and the paranoia and the hypervigilance, and then you have to reprogram and create new neural pathways. You know, everybody talks about what is, you know, oh, if I could just be this, then I'd be happy. Well, yes and no. Yes, I'm happy. I am like over the moon happy. If I could do cartwheels, I'd be doing cartwheels happy. I'm giggling and laughing and I feel such joy. But at the same time, at the exact same time, I'm like nervous and like, oh my God, this is so nice. Like, It's beyond nice. Like, it's the nicest thing I've ever lived in, ever in my life. It is, and I deserve this. I deserve this. I have to keep reminding myself I deserve this. After everything that I have been through over the last 53 years, I 100% deserve this. And I have to keep saying that until I believe it, because I don't fully believe it, to be honest with you. I don't. I still have fear that something's gonna, like, another boot's gonna drop. Like, something bad's gonna happen, and I'm gonna have to pack up and leave again. And no, I can't think like that. I have to continue to work on reprogramming myself through this. And at the same time, I'm like, if I can get this, and I didn't manifest this. This landed in my lap. This literally was God giving this to me, saying, this is where you're supposed to be. And it's beyond belief. It's just beyond belief. I'm in awe, is what I am. I'm in a lot of awe, and I'm so unbelievably grateful, and I feel so blessed. And now I'm like joking with God, going, okay, God, you got me here. I can check off the box of living in the most idyllic situation ever. Now show me the money. Show me the money. Show me, I need millions and billions of dollars. Show me $10 billion. Because I want to build a healing empire. So I do. I want to build a healing empire, a place where people can go to feel safe. Yes. And if you wanted, that would just be amazing. So I'm going to trust and have faith that I will have the creative flow necessary in this beautiful space with a great big table to write my book. I will have, the money will arise that I need to build. Like, I need millions of dollars. It's not about just needing money to pay my immediate bills. It's to grow. It's to expand. It's to one day be part of a convoy and go to your town and go to your town and go to your town. And do, healing work with people. I want to meet all of you guys. I want the You movement to expand and grow, like all the visions that I had of it that were planted in my brain back in 2021, of all the amazing things that I can create and do. But in the time of your awakening, when you're in dark night of the soul, you're not manifesting anything. What you're manifesting is debt. Not that you're manifesting debt. That's a joke, and I shouldn't have said it, so I take it back. What I mean is, Spirit shows you lessons that, your survival isn't dependent upon money. And so you have to learn to live without it so that when it arrives, you really greatly appreciate it. I personally believe that I and many of you guys out there have in past lives had a vow of poverty. Okay, so we've been doing this ascension work for like lifetimes. And I have no doubt that I have lived a monastic life before. And I have no doubt that I have made, lived in church or wherever and made my vow of poverty and gave up all my worldly goods, because I have very little attachment to earthly belongings, except for this thing. I really like it. I am glad I got to keep it. It was, as I said, the one thing that I did love that, but it makes you value, okay? When you have to go without, and you sell everything, you sell all your furnishings, you sell like all your jewelry. I sold all my jewelry. You sell, this, that, and the other. It helps you appreciate very much. It teaches you the lesson of appreciation. And I think that this is a really important lesson for a lot of light workers, is to let go of the programming of being poverty stricken or poverty consciousness and stepping into an energy of attracting wealth and using wealth for good, because the root of all evil is not money, it's evil. The root of all evil is evil. And if you give evil people a lot of money, they will do evil things with the money. But if you give good people who have done their healing work a whole bunch of money, they have learned discipline, they have learned responsibility, they have learned accountability, they have learned, appreciation and gratitude, and they will do good things with the money. So show me the money. That's what I keep saying to Spirit. Show me the money, because I want to do good things with the money. I want to be able to hire people and, give people a living wage. And I want to build communities, and I want to build healing centers, and I want to build. And I can't do that with, this and that. So I have to have trust again that the money will arise one way or another, just like this place did. So when you have something miraculous happen, when you have a miracle happen, even if it's as small as getting a 15-foot truck given to you for the same price of the 10-foot truck, an upgrade to show you the lesson of your life is being upgraded, or you're moved from a pokey micro house, even though it was really cute, but God knows what the winter would have been like, and the heat vibrations in the place was horrible. Okay, just FYI, if ever you're contemplating, I would like to get a micro house, you might want to rethink that, because the vibrations of the heating on the system underneath are very unpleasant. And then the park itself, the house might be very nice if it was on a plot of land that was your own, but if you're in a trailer park, warning, you might want to go rent for a while in the trailer park and see if you get on there, because that was not a safe environment for me. So these little mini miracles have been happening for me, and even getting hit by a bobcat was a miracle, because it got me moving in the right direction, even my concussed state. I needed some sense knocked into me, because I had to stop being my small self and move into my bigger self, my empowered self, my deserving self, my self that says, damn straight, I deserve this. I 100% deserve this. And I am excited to see what Spirit hands me next. And I know Spirit is pushing me into reintegration in society. So in the dark night of the soul, you're not manifesting anything, you're losing everything. In the void phase, you're not manifesting everything. Everything is at a standstill, and you just have to ride it out and wait it out, and eventually things move for you. You don't move things, things move for you. Divine time, slower than the second coming of Christ. And then we begin reintegration. So it's moved me here. And last night I was trying to figure out the apps around to see if I could get any groceries delivered, just to be a little bit lazy. And nothing was working for me. And then I found one app that was yes, there was groceries. I spent an hour and a half trying to put in an order. And then it was I tried to put in my credit card, and it was there's a problem. And I'm okay, I get the message. So sometimes when you things are all going wrong, you need to step back and look at it from spiritual view, bird's eye view, and say, oh, I'm not supposed to get it ordered in. I'm supposed to actually go for a ride and drive and be around and be amongst people. So I'm being called out of my house. Even I made myself an acupuncture appointment to help ground me when I got here, and it's on Wednesday. And had a consult with him on Zoom, and he's well, we really need to work on getting you back into society. And I was so just the fact that he said it as well, it was sometimes also God talks through other people. So listen to what other people say. When things go wrong, understand that's meant because you're supposed to do something different. So there's always a little lesson for absolutely everything that's happening. It's constantly, Spirit talks to you in weird ways. It would be great if Spirit was loud in my ear and just was yo, do this. That's not how it works, though. Sometimes it's an app not working. Sometimes it's getting hit by a bobcat. Sometimes it's a legal battle that prolongs and takes forever. Sometimes it's talking through other people. And sometimes miracles show up through U-Haul companies. And so everything that happens is redirecting you and directing you and redirecting you to get you to where Spirit wants you. And Spirit wants me here. And I'm like, hell's to ya, woot, woot, hell's to ya. I can't even begin to tell you. I'm going to set my yoga mat up right there in front of those doors, do some yoga in the sunlight this morning. This is my goal for today, and to go get myself some groceries because I'm really hungry, and make the root chakra video perhaps to continue the series. So this video is going to end up being insanely long if I splice together some of the older videos. So with that said, I'm sending everybody all my love, my gratitude. Oh my God, like seriously, I'm just blown away. I am absolutely just blown away. I'm here to tell you to keep going. Okay, you saw where I started from. You've seen me through my struggles. You've seen me through my battles and challenges, and just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. Okay, just keep going. As like Dory says in Finding Nemo. She doesn't say that. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. So you might feel like you're drowning, but just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep going, because eventually you're going to be brought somewhere safe. Your financial situation will be righted, and I'm going to hope that down the line I'm going to make the money that I need to build a life for myself, and build a life that's going to create health and wellness for as much of humanity that I can touch. I am in the service of God. I am in divine time. I am so unbelievably grateful for this journey, as crazy as the journey has been. So I'm sending you all my love. Mwah! Peace in, peace in.